In this video, we are going to see how to use Grafana to visualize data coming from Eyer. I'm going to talk about multiple baselines, but I'm not going to go into details about what they are and how they are formed. If you are curious about that, please visit the links that are in the description down below. The multiple baseline functionality is not active for all the metrics that Eyer monitors. For example, it's not active for those metrics that are very stable and very seldomly change value. In this example, we are going to see a metric where the multiple baseline functionality is enabled. Bear in mind that these are data coming directly from our anomaly detection. So these type of graphs are going to be available only after our anomaly detection is enabled, which happens when Eyer has collected enough data to start to form baselines. In this graph, we see the data points in yellow for one metric and the baselines that Eyer formed to describe the behavior of this metric. So in this case, we see two baselines, but Eyer can form up to 3 baselines. So there will be always a main baseline that you will always see. So you will always see at least one baseline. But you can also see up to 2 secondary baselines. So one secondary baseline that will describe the behavior that was observed in the past that is exceeding the values in the main baseline. But also, in principle, you could see also a third baseline that is an inferior secondary baseline that describes the behavior for data points that have a lower value with respect to the typical value in the main baseline. In this case, that inferior secondary baseline was not detected. So we have the main baseline and a secondary baseline here. So let's go and first of all look at the data points. Click here on this average, and this is average because this metric is stored as an average with an average aggregation inside Eyer. And these are data points that are resampled per minute. And this resampling per minute is done because our anomaly detection works on a per minute base. Occasionally, Eyer might decide to resample with a bigger resampling window, and this is done typically when there are frequent missing data. So if the data comes in every 3 minutes, the resampling window will be 3 minutes. But now let's go and have a look at the baseline, starting with the main baseline. And we are talking about baselines. So for each baseline, there will be an upper and lower limit. So that's why here you see main down, main up, the lower limit of the main corridor and the upper limit of the main corridor. So let's add it. And if you paid attention, now it rescaled because before was on a just visualizing the data, and now the data shrunk all in this line and we have the baseline. So lower limit and upper limit of the main baseline, and here is all the baseline, all the area that is considered normal behavior. And as I said before, we have in this case also secondary baseline, a superior baseline that is, and also in this case we have a lower limit that is this up down, and an upper limit, and the baseline, the secondary baseline is with whatever is contained between this lower limit and its upper limit. So you see here that there's overlap, and this can happen. And whenever there's an overlap, our algorithm will always prioritize the main baseline. So if a data point falls in this overlapping area will always be considered as like a data point that is in the main baseline. As I said, in this case, there's no inferior corridor. So was not detected any behavior that was lower than the main behavior. But still, we have the possibility of adding the inf down and inf up that are the lower and upper limit of this third baseline. And this is just a visualization thing because now if we add it here, it's actually added behind the main baseline. And when this happens, it means that if like this secondary baseline is completely behind the main baseline, it means that there's no secondary baseline. So basically this is just a visualization thing, because when this baseline is, and if this baseline is created, it starts to grow basically out of the main baseline as a secondary behavior arising from the primary one.